This is the original Ranger roll, 4.1 pounds. This is the modified version, 3 pounds. This is the ultra modified version, 1.7 pounds. Let's talk about them and how it works. Would you believe that I have 3 different sleep systems just in this one butt pack? That's right, 3. Welcome back, Grunts. I'm Randall, lounging around. I just got back from a 3-day trip. Stick around for future videos and you will see why. So today I'm hanging out, getting some rest, and being lazy. So I lied to you guys. This is a different poncho, but it's the same weight and size as the US Army poncho. It's the Helicon Tex poncho. And why is this so giant and heavy? Well, because if you were smart back in the day, you rolled up your sleeping mat inside of your Ranger roll. Otherwise, if the temperatures dropped, you would be bumming. Here's how it looks rolled up without the sleep mat in it. It is now just a pound lighter. So we're talking about 3 pounds. So to get the original Ranger roll down to the weight as the modern one, you're gonna have to sacrifice some warmth under you. If this is all you got, it's at least gonna protect you from the elements, mostly. You're gonna have to figure out something for the ground under you. As far as extra warmth, you could always pack more leaves and shrubs up under this, under the poncho, keep around your body, keep you warm. Usually we were wearing our LBV, LCEs. We would get to a patrol base, drop our rucks, and whatever we took out on our bodies for an overnight recon or something like that, our sleep system would go in our butt pack. And with the term sleep system, we are using that extremely loosely because this is just a poncho with a poncho liner. I've mentioned this several times. For me, this would be good for like a cool summer night. Like we're talking about upper 60s at the max for me. Now, with the poncho overhead or wrapped around you, you will survive, but it's gonna be miserable. If you consider what other grunts used before this time, this was a major step up. At least now you had something to put over you and around your body to keep the elements off of you and give you some kind of protection. Also, you can close it over itself, but because it is open at the bottom, you don't have to zip anything up. You can actually get out of it fairly quickly. So pretty good LPOP system, especially if you don't care about being warm at all. This is the modern system, a full pound lighter. What is in here? Almost the same. We've got a sleeping mat in there. That's why it is so big and heavier. But this is the US Army MSS Bivy. How is this a step above? Well, back in the days when this was discovered, they didn't have this. The MSS did not exist. In the grunt world, I had leadership from the light world. This is the system they taught me. I decided to start putting a sleep mat in there because I got tired of freezing my ass off. But once I got the MSS issued to me, I figured, hey, you know what? This bivy protects me from the elements. I can almost totally seal myself in it. And I can also roll up a sleeping mat in there. So this was around 2004 after my first deployment. So we did numerous field rotations, places like Eastern Germany where it's just extremely cold. And I switched to my own kind of system. At the time, most soldiers were using their entire MSS in the cold weather, or as I've mentioned in the MSS video, they were using just the bivy and the jungle bag because we had to try to keep it as light as possible. That configuration, the jungle bag with the bivy, is right at about 4 pounds. So this system is still lighter. However, how cold can you sleep in this modern system? Well, for me, I could get down to freezing temperatures, mainly because the bivy gave me a lot more warmth than the Army poncho did. But more importantly, because instead of depending on a sleep system at night, guys, grunts don't sleep in the field. And if you're in any kind of real world environment, you're barely sleeping. It's just, you just need something to get out of the elements. So with that logic in mind, I would bring more cold weather clothing. And I've talked about this in numerous videos. They'll be linked where they need to be linked if you're curious. But typically a grunt is carrying everything on them that they need for the mission, LPOP's movement. And if you're smart, you want to limit all the extra crap and weight you're carrying. And of course, seeing as how your sleep as a grunt or just any combat soldier in the field, it might be 1 or 2 hours if you're lucky. Really, you just need something to get out of the rain or get the wind off of you. Well, here you go. So again, nothing on this generation. They just didn't have this. Okay, but once this came out, this was the preferred method. It works a lot better. You are sealed off a lot more from the elements than you are in a poncho. I'm sure some other guys will tell you down in the comments that, you know, the Army poncho is awesome, but it's much better used as a shelter than it is wrapping it up around you, because eventually that thing will soak through. I've slept in monsoons with this frickin' bivvy, just rain pouring down on me, and for the most part stayed dry. The only time I got wet is if I had to get out of it at night for my guard shift or what other reason, and then I tried to climb back into it. Well, opening it gets you wet, climbing in there soaked, it just kind of ruins it. But this does protect you from the elements, and you can stay relatively warm. Now here is the modern roll version without a sleep mat. Now we're looking at right about a pound. I always have bungee cords on me, always. Wrap it around nice and tight, hook it to itself, you're good to go. Now let's talk about the ultralight version. 1.7 pounds. This is probably the lightest survival sleep system you could get, and this will easily fit in a butt pack, and it'll actually fit in a lot of guys' cargo pockets. But you could pack this thing pretty much everywhere, and yes, you're not going to be comfort camping in this, but you will survive the elements pretty comfortably. All this is the Snug Pack Special Forces bivvy, pretty much a civilian makeup, lighter and thinner version of the MSS bivvy. I did mention this in the MSS video. This is a bivvy. It's water resistant. It's fairly breathable. The point to this is it is super light, much lighter than the MSS bivvy. The problem is, however, this is so much thinner, you will not be sleeping in monsoon downpours with this thing. It will soak through. Okay, but you could always put something overhead, get under a fallen tree or whatever. So if we're talking about field ops and survival, you're probably going to be doing that anyway. So really all it is the same concept as the others, but I have an ultralight sleeping mat in there. This is the Thermarest Neo X Air. Not pushing products on you guys. This thing is pretty freaking expensive. I've been testing this for a while, and it's warm. It's held up so far, and it's the perfect light addition to something like this. So again, awesome system. It was much better than nothing. If you take out the mat, it will at least give you some kind of cover. You could make a brush pile to get off of the ground, but you know, that's a survival thing, but it's not very tactical. Just imagine 6 guys in an LPOP or 30 guys in a patrol base all raking up brushes and leaves and stuff to try to make a bed. Not tactical, nobody's pulling security, and you're definitely going to be hurt. Compared to the predecessors, World War II into Korea, some guys in Vietnam, this was a major step up. 1 pound lighter. We have a modified modular sleep system that I could actually take down into freezing temperatures, because as I said in the MSS video, as the temperatures dropped, the cold weather clothing that I'm wearing on my body and I have to take with me anyway, that's going to escalate and keep me warm. And then this is still going to be my get out of the element system. Pound lighter than the original version. And lastly, we have the most updated system, 1.7 pounds, super light. You could take it with you. You could put this on your body, your carrying kit, and you will always have it with you. And if you just happen to go out for a short walk or patrol or whatever, maybe a recon, and you get stuck overnight, you could pull this out and you will be much happier than all your buddies who didn't bring anything with them. So most of you guys know about the Snug Pack bivvy, but if I were to take the mat out of this thing like this, it's about a softball size. But if you use their stuff sack, you're looking at something about the size of my fist. And that's a bivvy. So this could be the lightest emergency survival system you could take if you're a grunt that is still cool with suffering. This would be great for you, man. And this is actually not even an expensive product. So there you have it, grunts. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you learned something. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that goodness. And I'll see you in the next video. Out. Nalgene bottles to piss off the backpackers. So because I have so many of them, every now and then I treat myself to a free MRE. Creamy spinach fettuccine. Probably had this same MRE spoon for 10 years. It's ultralight. There you go. Yes, I ate them for years. I could still eat them. And I could still eat them the grunt way. Cold. Not bad.